Don't move to South St. Pete. Why do I say that? I'm just kidding. South St. Pete has a ton of really cool places. It has a really amazing real estate, and I think it's the next up and coming area in the Tampa Bay. So stick with me because today we're going to talk about why you might want to consider South St. Pete as a place to live. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, then make sure to subscribe below. Now, if you want to be the first to get notified about the current market and anything fun happening here in the St. Pete area, make sure to click that bell notification. My name is Gina. My team and I have been helping people just like you move to the St. Petersburg area for the last 11 years. Whether you're looking to learn more about the St. Petersburg area, looking to move in 3 months or as little as 3 days, reach out to us. We'd love to help you make a stress-free move or just give you some really cool information about the area. All of our information is in the description box below. So today we are talking all about South St. Pete. Now, South St. Pete doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's not something that you should just pass on by. In South St. Pete, you will find a lot of old homes and new homes, updated homes, not updated homes, nice manicured lawns, nice areas, very not nice areas, but it's a mixing pot of everything, meaning it's one of those areas that's going to be very up and coming. South St. Pete is definitely an area that's growing. It's definitely an area that's growing and changing and adapting as more and more people move from out of state, out of town, and frankly, as the population grows, Florida in general on this coast, we don't have a ton of extra land. I mean, we're sitting on the only land that there is, and around us is water. So if you want to update an area or look for a new home, like a new construction home, you're looking at basically tearing down an old house, an old commercial building, and then rebuilding from there. Unless you want to go way up north in Tampa or across the water to the Brandon area, South Brandon area, you're not going to find a lot of new construction. And that's definitely what's happening in South St. Pete. It's one of those places that's what I call turning, basically turning over from old to new. It's blossoming. So stick with me today. I'm going to head on into my computer and I'm going to bring you with me and I'm going to show you on the map exactly what South St. Pete is all about. We're going to talk about a couple really cool areas in South St. Pete, tell you about a couple of the communities so that you get a really good feel if you come down to the area and you want to see South St. Pete, what it's all about. Okay, so we are going to jump into my computer here. And as you can see, we are looking at South St. Pete. Now, South St. Pete basically encompasses everything below downtown. Downtown essentially starts where I'm drawing this line and it goes up. South St. Pete, I would say, is everything down this way. It's everything below St. Petersburg, the city. I'm first going to point out a few of the areas that I think are really fun to go to no matter where you live in South St. Pete or even not in South St. Pete. There's still really fun areas. So let's tag the first one, and that is Boyd Natural Preserve. And actually it's called Boyd Hill Natural Preserve. Sorry about that. And technically you get to it, it's right on the bottom of this lake. Go around, you can kind of see from the sky here that you have hiking trails, you can do bird watching, you can just see all of the beautiful wildlife that we have in Florida. It's a very nice park. You can see like driving even through it. You have very, very full trees. It's just a really nice calm area if you want to take some time to yourself. Now, if I zoom out here and I go to the other top of the lake here, this is a really, really awesome park. It's called Dell Holmes Park. And from here, you can see that it takes up actually a pretty big chunk of land. And one of the really cool things about this park is that if you have kids or if you have any interest in fishing or walking or anything like that, even playing golf, there's a ton of things that you can do at this park. It's kind of like one of those spots that's hidden in South St. Pete that a lot of people don't know about. But the reason why I mention kids is because they have this whole play area. They have a splash pad, which I've definitely been to the splash pad myself, and I can say it's fun even if you aren't a kid. This is something that if you are visiting or if you want to even just enjoy a day away from the house, this is a great place to go. One of the other areas I like to highlight, just to give you an idea of the area, is if we zoom way out here, South St. Pete, right down here, and we cross over the 275, right down here is Eckerd College. And there's also actually not the most fanciest thing to talk about, but there is a wastewater treatment plant. You can see it right here in the photo. So a lot of times I like to point that out because if you're not familiar with the area, and those things are important whether you want to live by them or not, it's just something to know. I like to know where those places are. So you have the college and you have the wastewater treatment plant. It is separated mostly by the freeway here, which is 275 and 275 going in to the road that will lead you to St. Pete Beach, which is a whole nother video. Okay, so the first place that we're going to highlight is Old Southeast. So if you take a look at the map, this is downtown right up here at the very top right of the map. And if I zoom in, we're going to look at Old Southeast. It's right down outside of downtown, literally about 5 minutes from downtown. And as you can see, it's basically a residential area. It has a beautiful park nearby. And some of the highlights about this is actually the park. It's called Lassing Park. You can see amazing views of the Tampa Bay here. You can enjoy a nice walk along the streets and just enjoy, like, once again, the wildlife here in Florida, because you're always seeing something amazing. This area also has cute cobblestone streets. It has older homes. It's got some updated homes, some homes that need a little bit of love, but for the most part, this is a highlight of South St. Pete is the Old Northeast area. And so as you can see, as they zoom out, it is literally right below South St. Pete right here, about 5 minutes to the south. Okay, now we are zoomed out again, and I'm going to show you another neighborhood called Coquina Key. Coquina Key, if you look up at the very top of the map here, here's downtown St. Petersburg. If you go straight south, you are going to run into this small island here on the east side, and that's called Coquina Key. So if I zoom in here for you to see a little bit better, you can see that it definitely is an island. And when I say that, it just means that you have to cross one of two small bridges here and down here in order to get to these homes and the amenities out here on Coquina Key. Now, some of the cool things about Coquina Key is that obviously these properties are on an island, and so you have a lot of nature and water surrounding you. As you can see from the bottom of this view, you have the park down here, which you can enjoy like tennis or pickleball or anything of that nature. You also have a few of one of the island's main attractions as far as condos go, which is the waterside condos. You have a north section of that, which is up here on the top area of the map here, where you can see this little water bay area, and then you have the waterside condos. The rest of the area here is all housing, single family homes, also outlining onto the water here. And then as you go down towards the south end of the area, you will see that you have the other set of the waterside condos. Now, this is a huge condo development right here on the water. It has its own community center. It has its own tennis courts and pool. And it's just a great spot if you don't want to own a single family home, but you still want to take advantage of living near the St. Petersburg city, the Tampa Bay, and have all that it has to offer. The other really cool thing is if I zoom way in here at the very bottom of Waterside Condos, you have a bird watching observation area, so you can actually check out the wildlife up front. And that's really cool to have that right in your backyard, I think. So if I zoom us around to go north again, you can see where we are, your little island of Coquina Key. Okay, so if we zoom back out, now let's take a look at the second neighborhood that I want to highlight here in South St. Pete, and that is Lakewood Estates. Lakewood Estates is over to the west of the water here. And from the aerial map, you can kind of see it is just in this like little circular, almost like surrounded by the golf course and by the water here. And one of the cool things about Lakewood Estates and the surrounding areas is that you have access to the St. Petersburg Country Club if you live anywhere in this area. And you can see that right here. St. Petersburg Country Club, you have the tennis courts, you have pickleball, you have swimming, you have golf. It's literally a country club where you can also enjoy eating inside. And they have a hall where you can have like parties and things, host parties. So it's a pretty nice area if you like that. It's also right here next to the Boyd Hill Natural Preserve. So you can definitely enjoy the walking trails and the wildlife again in this area. It's also very close, if you see at the top of the map here, it's close to 275. So if you want to hop on the freeway and get to Tampa, that's definitely something that is very accessible. Okay, the next area I want to talk about is called the Greater Pinellas Point. Now, Greater Pinellas Point is way down at the very, very, very bottom of South St. Pete. So as you can see, once again, downtown is right up here at the very top of the map. And we are going to drive directly south into Greater Pinellas Point. Now you can also get here from taking the 275, or if you follow my mouse, you go all the way down here into the Greater Pinellas Point area. It's below Lakewood Estates, which is right here. And then like we just talked about, Coquina Key was right here. Old Southeast is right here. So this one is at the very bottom. So we're gonna zoom on in and check some of this out. Now, the main street here, you can see that it's just a large street. You have homes encompassing on either side. It's a very beautiful area. Everything below this is single family homes for the most part. There are a couple condos and apartment buildings within here, but mostly single family homes. And one of the cool things about this area is you can see at the very, very bottom of the screen here, what looks like a little bit of a different color on the streets. And so this is kind of a unique part about Pinellas Point. If I zoom in here on the map, you can see that the streets are actually a reddish pink. This is a history story in the making. Literally, this goes back to 1906, where they added pink dye to the concrete and hence got pink streets. And the cool thing about it is the first section of streets in Pinellas County that have concrete. So this is a very old historical landmark in a way. And so if you ever get a chance to come down to South St. Pete, I definitely check this area out. But you can see it's right by the water. It's beautiful. You have Bay Vista Park, which if we zoom over to the left here, actually let me zoom out for you so that you can kind of get your bearings. I'm gonna go north. So we're doing north, south. So downtown is up above us here. On the very tip here, you have Bay Vista Park, where you can view the Tampa Bay. You can see the Sunshine Bridge. It also is a really cool spot that I want to point out that if you have a boat, you can actually put your boat out into the water here and access the Tampa Bay and the Gulf. So that is one of the cool aspects about Bay Vista Park and the Pinellas Point area. So that's kind of the encompassing variety of this area. You have the single family homes. You have the single family homes down here near the water. Like I said, you can see from driving through the streets and just looking at the map here that this area is upkept. It's nice, it's quiet, it's very family friendly, it's good for retirees. It's just good for anyone and everyone who wants to enjoy the sunshine and the wonderful life down in Florida. And it also is, like I said, extremely close to the Sunshine Bridge, which is the main bridge right here that takes you down to Sarasota. So you can fish over here. There's a part of this bridge where you can actually fish. There's places where you can take a little drive out here and you can access the water. So there's just a whole bunch of really cool accessible features. Here's the main huge section of the bridge. Actually, let me zoom out for you. If you've never been to this area and the Sunshine Bridge, it is a long drive over, but it's really cool, really tall bridge. And a lot of people just really enjoy this drive across the water. It's a pretty nice drive across the waters. All right, and last but not least, I just want to highlight a couple spots on here that I think you should check out if you're ever in the area, and especially if you're looking for a nicely upkept neighborhood or somewhere near a marina. These are a couple fun areas to go. If you cross over, so once again, downtown St. Pete is at the very top of the map here. South St. Pete is below. If you cross over the 275 and go to the west, down here at the very bottom, actually I'll highlight it for you, right down here, in this area is actually a place called Broadwater, and they have a marina right next door to them. Let me see if I can zoom in here for you. So you can see you can dock your boats here. This is a super isolated in a way, meaning like there's one way in, one way out. But it's so beautiful, so upkept. In fact, maybe I can zoom in here and show you just what it looks like real quick. But you have just a beautiful area, beautiful homes. You can see that the lawns are all nicely done, nicely upkept, clean. So it's a really kind of nice place to live if you like living somewhere near the water and you just want to get a good feel of what it's like a little bit outside of the other areas of St. Pete. The other area I want to highlight really quick for you is if we zoom back down, here is St. Petersburg downtown at the very top of the map. And just to give you an idea, I didn't really mention too much about this area right up here, right below the city. Now, besides Old Southeast, which is over to the east, which is why it's called Southeast, the rest of the area I would say is one of those areas that maybe wasn't always so popular, but it's, I think, going to become a area that's going to start blossoming. Now, it's definitely something you might want to take a look at when you're in the area, but it's not going to have the same types of homes, the same feel as the areas on the outskirts of South St. Pete. So just think of it as any city that would essentially be right below a major city, and you probably will get the idea of what it's like down in this area. So I hope that was really, really helpful to get a little bit better idea of what South St. Pete is like. I know for me, I like to know the areas in a little bit more depth than just a big overview. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, always stick them in the comments below. If you have any places that you think I should have highlighted, also throw them below. I'd love to hear them. And as always, I hope you check out our next video on some of the other areas of St. Pete, and I will see you later.